few minutes. And we're continuing this team coverage with Aisha at the safety desk.
Well, Emily, as you know, it's a good day to have that conversation with your family about a safety plan if you haven't already this season. Never too late. Health and safety experts, they want you to know about a free emergency preparedness form you can fill out. This is run through the Department of Homeland Security through ready.gov. This family emergency communication plan is something you can email yourself as a PDF file once it's all finished. The form has things like emergency contacts, places to meet, and medical information for everyone in your family. Officials say to set aside time when everyone is calm and relaxed. You have the time. Hold the conversation over time so decisions aren't rushed and everyone can feel more comfortable talking about these topics. Talk about steps you may have taken to prepare during past weather events we've had, and encourage everyone to ask questions about preparedness actions that might work for them, especially kids if they have questions. You may not be together when disaster strikes, so it is important to know how you'll reconnect if you're separated. We'll get that form linked under the safety desk tab at WBAY.com, guys.
Aisha, thank you. Time now 5:34, and a new round of airstrikes between the U.S. and Iran. President Donald Trump now saying he believes the agreement between the two nations is over.
And U.S. Central Command announcing American forces hit more than 80 targets on Tuesday, including Iranian air defense systems, command and control networks, and